If you have ADHD or you work or live with someone who does, you'll know that productivity is a bit of a loaded word. We want to be productive. We often try really hard to be productive, but some days it feels like our brains are full of bees, and no matter how many to-do lists we write, we still end up doom scrolling TikTok, reorganizing the fridge, or deep diving into random topics that have absolutely nothing to do with what we're meant to be doing. I have ADHD and I coach a lot of people with it too. So when I say I get it, I really do. Many of my coaching clients are referred to me by their company because they're simply too disorganized. And many aren't even aware until they start working with me that the reason for their lack of productivity may very well be ADHD. So, in this video, I'll explain why ADHD brains struggle with productivity, including the role of dopamine, why we leave things until the very last minute and then panic, why we can hyper-focus for hours on things we enjoy, which really confuses people who think ADHD equals an inability to concentrate. Then I'll share 7 practical tools that actually work for ADHD brains. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of simple, proven strategies you can try straight away, whether you're self-employed, managing a busy household, or working a traditional 9 to 5. They also work for neurotypicals too. With the right tools, you really can be productive, even with a brain that resists structure. I'm Jo Banks. I was a senior HR professional for almost 20 years before setting up my own coaching practice 16 years ago, and I'm sharing what I know. Before we get into today's topic, can I ask a big favour? So few of my viewers like, comment, or are subscribed, and yet many of you will email me to tell me how much you love the channel, and that's great. I absolutely love that, but it doesn't help the algorithms and it doesn't help me grow the channel. So can I please ask a favour? Can you subscribe, like, and comment? Subscribing is completely free. You do not need a Google account. You can use your usual email address and you will not receive emails from me, YouTube, or anyone else. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. So let's dive straight in. Why ADHD brains struggle with productivity. A big part of the challenge lies in dopamine, the brain chemical responsible for motivation, reward, and pleasure. People with ADHD typically have lower levels of dopamine, which means that we don't get that nice little internal ping that tells us, yes, something is important, keep going, in the same way that neurotypical people do. That's why we procrastinate, especially on boring or overwhelming tasks. We leave things until the last possible minute only to have a panic-fueled burst of productivity. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. And we can hyperfixate on the stuff that we like doing and totally lose track of time. So yes, we can concentrate. In fact, sometimes we concentrate a bit too well. Hello, 12-hour hyperfocus sessions where you forget to eat or even use the bathroom. Hyperfocus for long periods is a biggie for me, but that's often when I get my best work done. Anyway, so the issue isn't attention, it's regulating it. It's switching it on when we need to and turning it off when we don't, and directing it where it actually needs to go. Understanding this is key because once we stop beating ourselves up for not working like everyone else, neurotypicals, we can start to build a system that actually supports our brains. So, here are 7 ADHD-friendly productivity tools that I've found super helpful. They work, and I've used them myself and also countless times with my clients. Number one, the Pomodoro Technique with a twist. You've probably heard of the Pomodoro Technique. That's 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break. After 4 rounds of that, you then take a longer break, which works well because it gives your brain a defined time to focus. It offers a reward, the break at the end, and it feels manageable, even if you're struggling with motivation. For ADHD brains, I recommend tweaking the time blocks. For some people, 25 minutes is just too long. For others, it's not long enough. So experiment with 15, 20, 30, or even 45-minute blocks and find your sweet spot. This technique is especially useful for admin tasks or tasks you find really dull and boring. There are also apps out there that can gamify it, which adds to the dopamine hit too. I also recommend rewarding yourself after you've done a particularly nasty task that you didn't want to do. Always aim to do these nasty tasks first rather than doing your easy tasks first, which is what a lot of us do. It's a trap that many of us fall into. Then, when you've completed it, reward yourself with your favourite coffee, a snack, or 5 minutes on social media. But be really careful with that. We can often enter into that spiral where we can't get out of it. So, why does rewarding yourself work? Well, we are reward-based creatures. Growing up, we heard do your homework, you can go and play. Tidy your room, you can have a treat. Finish your dinner, and you can have dessert. We are programmed for reward. So, doing your ugly task first and then rewarding yourself after you've completed it will give you a really nice dopamine hit. Number 2, task shadowing. This one's a game changer, especially for people who get overwhelmed or paralyzed by choice. Task shadowing means you pair up with someone either in real life or virtually and do your work at the same time as them. You're not necessarily doing the same tasks, but you're sharing the space and accountability. There are different ways to do this. Body doubling, so having somebody nearby while you work, and I know that many of my clients say this is the best one for them. But if that's not possible, virtual co-working. Log into Zoom or a Teams call and silently work with someone else for a set period. Another way could be to check in with someone at the top of every hour, tell each other what you're committed to working on for that hour. Do the work and then check in again at the top of the next hour. These things work because you're creating external structure and accountability, which ADHD brains often need. And that's why coaching with the right coach works so well for people with ADHD. They have to be accountable, especially if you work with me. You're also less likely to wander off, starting to clean the bathroom or clear your kitchen cupboards just because. Number 3, one list, one page. That's it. Many of us have a list problem. Not that we don't make them, we just make too many. Sticky notes, apps, half-used notebooks, voice memos, digital planners, and somehow nothing ever actually gets done. The solution: one list, one page, one piece of paper. The physical act of writing things down helps get the clutter out of our head and onto something solid. Really critical. But we need to contain it. If it's sprawling across 5 different notebooks and 6 apps, your brain will just check out. One master list, handwritten, works best for most people, and update it daily. I always suggest the piece of paper rather than apps because we have an issue with our ADHD brains with object permanence. If we can't see it, it doesn't exist. Make sure you update it daily. When a task is done, cross it off. And when you've got too much on your list, ask what's urgent, what's important, and what can wait, and put it into those three categories. You'll start noticing patterns in how you work, what you tend to avoid, where you get stuck, and what time of day you're most productive. For many of my clients, they're more productive in the morning, so I get them to put their more complex tasks towards the beginning of the day. Number four, the start with one rule. Sometimes the problem isn't doing the task, it's starting it. We look at the mountain in front of us and freeze. So instead of tackling the whole thing, we don't, we ignore it. This is where the start with one rule comes in. Tell yourself you're only going to do one thing. Write one sentence, tidy one drawer, reply to one email. Most of the time, once you've started, momentum kicks in and you keep going. But even if you don't, you've still made a little bit of progress, and that builds confidence over time. Motion creates motion. I cannot tell you how many times I've procrastinated over something, sometimes for months, because it feels so huge. However, when I finally get round to doing it, usually because it's time critical, it only takes 5 minutes to complete. I'm sure that's happened to you. I also think that confusion is an issue for many ADHD brains. When we're confused about what we're supposed to be doing or even how we're going to tackle it, we shut down. We put it in the too hard to do box and procrastinate over it until doing it becomes unavoidable. Start small so that you're not overwhelmed, and momentum will carry you forward. Number five, timers and alarms, aka external brains. ADHD brains are not great at time awareness. We're either running late, forgetting the time altogether, or totally losing ourselves in hyperfocus. Using timers and alarms can give structure to your day and gently nudge your brain back on track. Try alarms for transitions, which is another issue that our ADHD brains have. We don't like transitioning from one task to another. So, to help you switch tasks or take breaks, use alarms. Use countdown timers to race the clock on boring chores. For example, I'll clean the kitchen for 10 minutes. Another one is visual timers, like the time timer, which shows time disappearing as colour. Great if you're a visual thinker. Finally, on this one, use net time. No extra time, where you double up. You do two tasks at the same time. So you see how much you can get done while the dinner is cooking or the kettle is boiling. Make voice notes while you're driving and do emails while you're waiting to pick up your child. Treat timers as friendly helpers, not taskmasters. They're not there to pressure you, just to help you to notice time passing. Number six, chunking and theming. Instead of trying to do everything all the time, group similar tasks together into chunks. This helps reduce cognitive load and task switching fatigue. Task switching, as I've just said, is a big issue for many of my ADHD clients. So how do we do this? Well, you might have an admin hour where you do emails, bills, paperwork, all in one go. Do all of your emails in one go. Do all of your phone calls after that. Next, we have creative time, writing, designing, planning. Block all that together. Then you might have an errands block. Group all of your out of the house tasks together. Like yesterday, I had to run to the supermarket, the post office, and a couple of other places, and I did it all on one journey, so I didn't have to keep coming backwards and forwards to the house. You can also theme your days, which is easier to do, admittedly, if you work for yourself. So, for example, on a Monday, it might be meetings. Tuesday might be content creation. And Friday could be for reviews and planning, or even to do your paperwork, which is what I do. ADHD brains thrive on variety within structure. Chunking gives you just enough predictability to stay focused without feeling boxed in. Number 7, make it fun or meaningful. If something feels boring, pointless, or overly rigid, chances are your brain will resist it every single time. So, the final tool is really a mindset. Make it fun or meaningful. You can do this by gamifying tasks. Give yourself points, rewards, challenges. Pair the boring with interesting. Listen to music or a podcast while you do the housework. Link the task to a value. For example, I'm not doing admin just for the sake of it. I'm doing it so that I can grow my business and help people. Sometimes just asking yourself what would make this 10% more enjoyable is enough to unlock a bit of motivation. Finally, a little bonus one that some of my clients find really useful. Many of my clients find that if they don't take their shoes off when they get in the house, they are far more productive at cleaning up and doing the household chores. So something in the brain says, I'm out and about and I need to be doing. So that's a little throwaway one. It doesn't work for me because I'm a bit of a clean freak and I do not like shoes in the house, but I know it works for many people. The wrap up. Productivity with ADHD isn't about being perfectly organized or doing things the normal way. It's about finding what works for your brain using tools that support your energy, focus, and natural rhythms. And remember, you are not lazy, you're not flaky, and you're not disorganized. You just need different strategies than most people and strategies that nobody's ever taught you. It's not a flaw, it's how you're wired. If you're watching this and nodding along, try one or two of these tools this week. Not all of them will work for everyone, and trying to do all of them in one go will likely be too overwhelming, and you'll end up doing none of them. But when you find your rhythm, things start to feel easier. What next? If you've got a tool that works for you that I haven't covered here, I would love to hear about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, can I ask a little favour? Please support this channel with a like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. It's completely free. And if you haven't got a YouTube account, I've had some feedback that that's what's been putting people off signing up. So it is entirely free and you can use your normal email address. It really does make a massive difference in helping me grow this channel. Finally, thank you to everybody who supports me and everyone who stays until the very end. It really does mean the absolute world to me. Thank you.